Buckle up, adventurer, because we're going for a ride. On this drive, we'll be traveling from our home in the Phichit province all the way to our home in the Phitsanulok province. Normally, this takes about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic, weather, road conditions, etc. Along the way, I'll be highlighting some things, starting with this road lined by trees. It was actually highlighted in a TV program about some of the cool roads in the area. The leaves that fall from these trees are very large, and a lot of times I think it's an animal that's laying in the middle of the road. On the left is Wat Wang Saeng. This is actually the temple where both of my sons became monks. They didn't stay monks very long, but for a week or so they honored that title. This is also the same temple where they ordained 13 monks for Songkran a couple years ago. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. The biggest industry in this area is farming, and it's dominated by rice fields. You may find some small plots of land that are covered by mango trees, but again, the rice fields are number one. I could go straight towards the center of town, but sometimes it's clogged with cars and motorbikes, so I always like to take this little tiny side street past this school. It's my little private shortcut. I mean, as you can see, there are other cars that like to drive it too, but it dumps me right to the highway. There are times that I'm being tailgated and the person will pass me. I'll take the side shortcut, and in the end, I'll end up being still in front of them as I make the U-turn going the opposite way on the highway. We're coming up on the first 7-Eleven to show up in Wang Saeng. I've always felt that if you wanted to become a big city, get yourself a 7-Eleven. Not a post office, not a gas station, but a 7-Eleven. And speaking of gas, my SUV is actually running low, so we gotta pull into the station here and fill her up with some diesel fuel. One big difference between the gas stations in California and the gas stations in Thailand is that you stay inside the car and the attendants come and fill it up for you. So that's what they're going to do in just a few moments. I guess in a perfect situation, we would want to turn the vehicle off. They probably have signs that say that, but nobody does. When the humidity is 2,000% and the temperature is 100 degrees Fahrenheit, there's no way you want to turn the car off because you'll just boil inside your own car as it's being filled up. And we're off. It almost feels like we just did a quick NASCAR pit stop. Normally I don't drive this fast, but I'm doing this so you don't have to watch an hour-and-a-half video. The government spent a lot of money widening this road. It used to be just 2 lanes and it was very difficult to pass, and it was even worse if you were driving on a motorbike to go to the next city over, which is Sak Lek. So now you're looking at a 4-lane highway, and it is beautiful. Nice and smooth, you can pass slower vehicles, it's perfect. And we're coming up on the heart of Sak Lek. One of the things that we like to do here is sometimes go to the large temple that will be on the left right here. They usually have a big flea market. You can get a lot of food and things. And the other thing that draws us to Sak Lek are banks. So there are some larger banks. Wang Saeng has some banks, but they're very small and they're more like farmer type banks. So we go with some of the bigger names. If I continue driving straight, this will also take us to Phitsanulok, but I want to take a nice little back way to get to our home instead. So it actually cuts through some of the farmland, which is very, very beautiful to look at. So I'll be making a left and heading towards the heart of Phichit, the city. And if you haven't already noticed, it was actually a rainy day today, and you'll see a lot of storm clouds passing overhead. As with the previous highway, this road also went under some heavy construction. It was widened from a 2-lane now to a 4-lane, and it is also very enjoyable to drive on. I could cut through some farmlands to get to Phichit City, but I've run into a lot of farming equipment, slow-moving motorbikes. It's also a 2-lane, and it sometimes adds some additional time just to get through the shortcut. So distance-wise, it's shorter, but time-wise, it is not. Construction workers just have one last little bit to finish off, and it actually involves widening some bridges, so it does take much longer. Those are sort of like the bottlenecks of the construction process. And welcome to Phichit. And if you haven't already subscribed, please click the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. The population of Phichit City is around 113,000 people. My wife and I, when we were living at the other house, like to come here often. They've got shopping malls, all kinds of food from KFC to pizza, so we could feel like a fat American again if we really wanted to. You're gonna buy a new car if you wanted, motorbikes, all kinds of things. I mean, it's a fully stocked city. Alright, we're gonna make a quick U-turn here, and then that will be followed by a left turn, and this will take us to the back roads. So again, we're gonna go through some nice, beautiful farmland, and yes, we'll come upon some slow-moving vehicles from pickup trucks to motorbikes. But again, the drive is all worth it, and it actually does save a lot of time if we were to go this way as opposed to taking some of the larger highways. Not to mention that this road actually dumps us right in front of our house, pretty much. So to the left you have an irrigation canal, a very large irrigation canal, and every once in a while we'll come across a one-lane bridge. That will usually be used by motorbikes, but every once in a while you'll see a little tiny truck or a car passing over that. Now, they're made out of concrete and all that heavy-duty materials, but I don't know, some of these bridges, if you look the wrong way, you might drive right off the side. They kind of look a little sketchy to me. You see that red and white radio tower? Those are used to control the floodgates, and all along this canal you're going to have a few of these radio towers. Now the signal is so strong coming from these radio towers that every time I drive by them, I lose Wi-Fi connection between my phone and the car's entertainment system. And that basically wipes out my music, it wipes out my GPS, and I'll have to reconnect everything. Now if I have a cable connected to the back of my phone, it'll continue to work, but if I'm relying on Wi-Fi, forget about it. I have to go through the whole reconnection process. Now, I have an Android phone. My daughter has an iPhone, and it also disconnects, but it also always reconnects, as opposed to the Android phone where it never reconnects. I have to manually do it. This is one of the few straightaways along this stretch of the road here, but we're coming up on an intersection, and this intersection is notorious for a lot of large overloaded trucks carrying sugarcane. I think off to the left, you can't see it, but off to the left there's a large processing center where those trucks are headed towards. I always have to look left and look right before I cross the intersection so I don't get squashed by one of these large trucks. Starting about here, this is where actually things get pretty interesting. Now we came at the wrong time of the day, but often you will see herds of water buffalo, goats, regular cows that don't really look like American cows. They're more like malnourished looking, but they're not. Just very skinny, lean. That's probably the best thing. They work out a lot. But you see a lot of farm animals grazing on the side of the canal off to the right here. So I slowed the video down. I saw this guy on the motorbike pulling off of a bridge that ran over the canal onto the street in front of me, and he was kind of weaving and bobbing all over the road. I think he might have started his alcoholic beverages a little bit on the early side today. I definitely wanted to put some distance between him and me, just in case he swerved in front of me or fell over, and I didn't want him to be a road obstacle. We are currently driving over one of the larger canals in the area. I think they use this probably to offset any flood waters. I rarely see it all the way up to the top, but on super heavy days, they still dump water into it. The bridge itself is very small, and it's got like a little chicane type thing going into it, so you really have to reduce your speed so you don't get into trouble. We're coming up on another floodgate. This one also has a radio tower, but the signal strength is not as devastating as that earlier one that we saw. I know it looks like we're going 100 miles an hour, but every once in a while you'll see on the side of the road somebody's setting up a little roadside stand where they're selling food, so just keep a keen eye out for that. And here's another bridge, this one much wider than the last, but it also goes over a fairly large canal. Although I haven't done it, I have been half tempted to stop on the side of the road during the evening as the sun goes down, because the sunsets here are just amazing over these rice fields. Just the colors and the golden beautifulness of it all, it's jaw-dropping. It was bound to happen. Here's a slow-moving pickup truck. Notice the driver has the window open with his arm extended. He's just chilling and enjoying life. My wife and I usually say that the guy's driving slowly because he wants to avoid getting home so he doesn't get chewed out by his wife. It's kind of an inside joke that we've got going. I apologize for not getting this video out sooner, but when both of your computers die, there's nothing you can do, and that's exactly what happened to me. I was crippled. Just totally crippled from lack of technology. Well, we made it. We're in the general vicinity of our home. My wife and I actually had to head into town to buy a few things. I think it might have been cat food or something like that. But thanks a lot for coming along with us, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please click one of the video links below or click the playlist.